His mom, Bakari, and everybody that good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Today is Sunday, May 4th, 2025, back with another episode. Thank y'all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I'm sitting out here, looking at the car pass by. On my porch, trying to decide what it is I want to do today. I'm thinking about getting in my old school, dropping the top and riding the Gulf Coast, the Mississippi coast, riding from Alabama over there to Biloxi to the casino, ride up what we call 90, the scenic route, going to Mississippi. Drop the top and just ride. Or I might go downtown and hang out at the square, at the park, feed the squirrels. I might go to Municipal Park. I'm just sitting here trying to decide what it is I want to do, based on what I can afford to do, whatever that may be. Based on my financial ability, whatever I can do, whatever level I am at financially. I'm just sitting here on my porch, deciding what it is I want to do. What are you talking about, big boy? Get to the point, man. You be taking too long to get to your point. The point is this. This is where I'm going with this, right? Last night I was on live. That thing was like 5.5 hours, really longer than that. I had to clip one and erase it because something happened. And started a whole new live, and it went 5.5 hours. I don't know what I was talking about, but y'all said it was good, so I'm glad you was there. But on that live, one of the guests, my friend Zach, and I do call you my friend Zach, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed our conversation. I enjoyed Mr. Lister. I enjoyed VP. I enjoyed his mom, Bakari, and everybody that showed up. I appreciate all y'all and all the people that was there watching it. I appreciate you. And that y'all stayed up with me. That
Voice guidance speed. Easy for you to understand 1 of 2. Medium. Accessibility.
stayed up with me that long. And one of the things he said that we were going back and forth about was that he felt oppressed in America. He ended up changing his mind. Y'all was there, if you was there, you saw it. But he was talking about being oppressed. Yesterday was May the 3rd, 2025.
What's up?
And we have
Say
people in
something.
America that still
Speak.
talk about the oppressed, right? So that's why I was going with the lead off on this video, telling y'all about what I was thinking about doing. I have so many options that are not expensive, just a little gas money, and my imagination about whatever it is I want to do. I got a couple of fishing reels. I can grab them and go fishing. My point is, he said we still oppressed as black people here in America, right? I'm not saying we don't have struggles, but having struggles is not the same as being oppressed. A lot of my people tend to misclassify struggling as being oppressed. And they tend to base it, their struggle is based on their race because they're black. That's why they struggle. See, there's a whole group of people out here that profit of convincing my people that we still oppressed in 2025, that we still don't have opportunities, the same opportunities as anybody else here in America. There are people that profit of convincing, it's a whole business, the oppression business, the racism business. I'm gonna name a few people that's their business, that's what they do for a living. Al Sharpton, D.L. Hughley. I think Jesse Jackson retired. That's just to name a few well-known ones. That profit, that's their whole life work. Fighting discrimination, fighting racism. That's what they do for a living. They made a career, a whole nother genre of work out of fighting so-called racism and discrimination and oppression in 2025. But I guess that's why a person like me is considered a sellout, a bootlicker, or whatever they want to call me. Because for some reason, I'm trying to find, like last night I asked my man to point out this oppression that you speak of, that black people are experiencing in America. And what he was describing is not oppression. It's the everyday struggles of life. And I pointed out that those everyday struggles of life
I just wish y'all have a blessed day, you know.
yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. With a fatty on my neck. Yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. With a fatty on my neck. Yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. With a fatty on my neck. Yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. With a fatty on my neck. Yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. With a fatty on my neck. Yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. With a fatty on my neck. Yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. With a fatty on my neck. Yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. With a fatty on my neck. Yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. With a fatty on my neck. Yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. With a fatty on my neck. Yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. With a fatty on my neck. Yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. With a fatty on my neck. Yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. With a fatty on my neck. Yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. With a fatty on my neck. Yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, yeah, she was a fairy.